Motor caravanning on Jersey is easier than ever these days. All you have to do is book one of the 3 campsites that are available, and then the campsite will get onto the council and arrange a permit for you. I've got one here. So now I'm free to go and explore the island. Lured by the prospect of sun, sand, clifftop walks, a poignant past and excellent campsites, we've come to Jersey in the Channel Islands. The beautiful island of Jersey is only 9 miles long and 5 miles wide, so you're never far from a wonderful beach, castle, fortress or pub. You can choose to sail from Poole, Portsmouth or Weymouth to St Helier, Jersey's port and capital, and if you arrive in daylight, your first glimpse of the island is sure to be a special one. 100 miles from the English mainland, yet only 14 miles from the west coast of France, and many of the island's place names are French. Don't forget, you're still in England, so you'll be driving on the left, speaking English, and you won't need a passport, unless you fancy a day trip to France while you're here. You're sure to discover beautiful beaches and hidden coves in every direction on holiday in Jersey. We visited some of the best beaches, starting with the 5-mile stretch of golden sand and rolling surf of Le Bray in St Juan's Bay on the west coast. It's ideal for surfing and has plenty of free car parks, a cafe, ice cream vans and toilets. We also went to Grève de Lec in the north and explored the cliffs, coves and beach cafe at sandy Plymouth Beach. For such a small island, there are plenty of places to visit in Jersey. To experience the full dramatic force of the sea's impact on island life, visit Corbière Lighthouse, perched on rocks in the rugged southwest corner of Jersey. At low tide, you can walk across a causeway to it, but don't get caught out when the tide turns. Jersey experiences 30 to 40 foot tides, and the island is almost twice as big at low tide as it is when the Atlantic comes rolling in. Famous for its delicious Jersey Royal new potatoes, rich golden Jersey cream, seafood and fresh vegetables. We saw potato pickers harvesting the early crop on many hillsides, and we bought some spuds from a roadside stand. We also had a chance to admire the beautiful Jersey cows grazing in the meadows. There are excellent buses on Jersey, ideal for sightseeing when you fancy a break from driving. When you visit the war tunnels, you can even roll up in style on the vintage bus from St Helier and enjoy an onboard commentary from Bergerac star John Nettles. We're at Jersey War Tunnels, and this is Kathy, the operations manager. Kathy, who built the tunnels and why?
Well, the German troops that were here that occupied Jersey during the 5 long years of occupation built these tunnels. We had a flak battery at the hillside just opposite us here, and they had to store ammunition, and the perfect place was to build this under all the trees. It was mainly built by slave workers, Russians, Ukraine, some Spanish, and they were treated terrible, but it took just over 2 years to build this tunnel complex that you see now.
And what was it for?
It was for an ammunition barracks to start with, obviously, because where it is in the hillside, you couldn't see it from above, and they honestly thought the British troops were going to invade. Even though that didn't happen, they didn't know it at the time.
And at this attraction, what journey do you take people on?
Completely through the start of the occupation, from when the Germans landed on the island, right through to eventually our Liberation Day, which this year we are celebrating 70 years, so it's going to be a big event here.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
And what will happen at the celebrations?
We have a weeks-long festival here. We've got military clubs bringing up old ambulances, vehicles, bicycles. We've got John Peters coming over for an evening event, a talk show that's going to be. He was actually captured during the First Gulf War, and obviously he was captured, tortured and eventually liberated, which is quite poignant to today as well. Here we tell 2 sides of the story. You get the Germans' point of view and you get the British point of view as well, and mainly just the islanders as well, which is good, because they really suffered during the occupation.
What sort of things did they suffer?
Well, obviously there was a curfew, so they couldn't go out and see people in the evening. The food shortage towards the end was absolutely terrible. There was no cats, there was no dogs. People were obviously having to survive on what they could eat. The farmers were a little bit better off than the town folk because they could grow their own vegetables. Again, though, you know, some of that was pinched during the night. People had to do what they did.
Yes, to survive.
To survive, yeah, completely.
We hear a lot about collaborators during the war being despised by their neighbours, But did people understand that these people were just doing what they had to do to survive, or what happened to them?
No, completely. They were despised by the whole of the island. There was a story of a young girl that was chased down King Street and had her head shaved, so that's not a myth. That did happen here as well. But then they were all escorted off the island by the police for their own safety. The one thing you didn't do in the war was dob on your neighbours, because if you're told they had a crystal radio or something, the consequences were you'd end up in one of the concentration camps.
So how much does it cost to get into the Jersey war tunnels?
Well, the prices for this year, it's $11.50 for an adult, or it's $10.50 for seniors. The visit takes 1.5 to 2 hours long. Advise everyone to wear something warm, even on a sunny day it's cold in the tunnels. There's loads to see here, read, videos to watch. There's testament from the actual occupation survivors. We also have a lovely garden. People can come up and have a picnic. We've got a garden of remembrance at the top here. We've also got a shop for arts and crafts and general souvenirs. And we've got a lovely cafe that you can go and just sit in and ponder what you've seen.
Wonderful. That sounds great. I've had an amazing time at Jersey war tunnels, and I've learnt so much more about the occupation. And now I fancy a cup of tea, so I'm going back to Daisy Cottage campsite, and I'll show you around there later.